Good morning, my friends. I just had to get out and go put sweetener in my coffee. I just took a big swig off my coffee and it was unsweetened by mistake. Oh, ruined. Almost ruined my day. People that don't put sweetener in their coffee are right in the head. That's awesome, Mallory. Good for you. I'm taking tomorrow, or at least part of tomorrow, off because we have company coming for barbecue. So I'm going to get some stuff today for our barbecue tomorrow. And I'm taking a couple hours today to take my kid to the movies because I have been promising her that we would go to this movie since the date was announced months ago. So we are going to the movies today at 11 a.m. to the very first show of Despicable Me, like 18 or something. I don't know. All right. July 3rd, the sayings of Agur, Proverbs 31 through 33. The sayings of Agur, son of Jacob, contain this message. I am weary, O God. I am weary and worn out, O God. I am too stupid to be human, and I lack common sense. I have not mastered human wisdom, nor do I know the Holy One. Who but God goes up to heaven and comes back down? Who holds the wind in his fists? Who wraps the oceans in his cloak? Who has created the whole wide world? What is his name and his son's name? Tell me if you know. Every word of God proves true. He is a shield to all who come to him for protection. Do not add to his words, or he may rebuke you and expose you as a liar. O God, I beg two favors from you. Let me have them before I die. First, help me never tell a lie. Second, give me neither poverty nor riches. Give me just enough to satisfy my needs. For if I grow rich, I may deny you and say, who is the Lord? And if I am too poor, I may steal and thus insult God's holy name. Never slander a worker to the employer, or the person will curse you and you will pay for it. Some people curse their father and do not thank their mother. They are pure in their own eyes, but they are filthy and unwashed. They look proudly around, casting disdainful glances. They have teeth like swords and fangs like knives. They devour the poor from the earth and the needy from among humanity. The leech has two suckers that cry out, more, more. There are three things that are never satisfied, no, four, that never say enough: the grave, the barren womb, the thirsty desert, the blazing fire. The eye that mocks a father and despises a mother's instruction will be plucked out by ravens of the valley and eaten by vultures. There are three things that amaze me. No, four things that I don't understand. How an eagle glides through the sky, how a snake slithers on a rock, how a ship navigates the ocean, and how a man loves a woman. An adulterous woman consumes a man, then wipes her mouth and says, what's wrong with that? There are three things that make the earth tremble. No, four things it cannot endure: a slave who becomes a king, an overbearing fool who prospers, a bitter woman who finally gets a husband, a servant girl who supplants her mistress. There are four things on earth that are small but unusually wise. Ants. They are strong, but they store up food all summer. Hyraxes. They aren't powerful, but they make their homes among the rocks. Locusts. They have no king, but they march in formation. Lizards. They are easy to catch, but they are found even in kings' palaces. That should make me feel better about the lizard in our garage then. There are three things that walk with stately stride, no, four things that strut about: the lion, the king of animals, who won't turn aside for anything; the strutting rooster, the male goat, a king as he leads his army. If you have been a fool by being proud or plotting evil, cover your mouth in shame. As a beating of cream yields butter, and striking a nose causes bleeding, so stirring up anger causes quarrels. The sayings of King Lemuel, Proverbs 31, 1 through 9. The sayings of King Lemuel contain this message, which his mother taught him. O my son, O son of my womb, O son of my vows, do not waste your strength on women, on those who ruin kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, to guzzle wine. Rulers should not crave alcohol, for if they drink, they may forget the law and not give justice to the oppressed. Alcohol is for the dying, and wine is for those in bitter distress. Let them drink to forget their poverty and remember their troubles no more. Speak up for those who cannot speak up for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed. Yes, speak up for the poor and the helpless, and see that they get justice. A wife of noble character, Proverbs 31, 10 through 31. Who can find a virtuous and capable wife? She is more precious than rubies. Her husband can trust her, and she will greatly enrich his life. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She finds wool and flax and busily spins it. She is like a merchant ship, bringing her food from afar. She gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and plan the day's work for her servant girls. She goes to inspect a field and buys it. With her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She is energetic and strong, a hard worker. She makes sure her dealings are profitable. Her lamp burns late into the night. Her hands are busy spinning thread, her fingers twisting fiber. She extends a helping hand to the poor and opens her arms to the needy. She has no fear of winter for her household, for everyone has warm clothes. She makes her own bedspreads. She dresses in fine linen and purple gowns. Her husband is well known at the city gates, where he sits with the other civic leaders. She makes belted linen garments and sashes to sell to the merchants. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and laughs without fear of the future. When she speaks, her words are wise, and she gives instruction with kindness. She carefully watches everything in her household and suffers nothing from laziness. Her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. There are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty does not last, but a woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised. Reward her for all she has done. Let her deeds publicly declare her praise. I do too. I do too, Cheryl. All right. Ooh. Getting a little hot flash over here. We are on page 106 of Breaking Free from Body Shame on the second paragraph. I think I'll step back and read the last paragraph from yesterday. Imagine your soul standing over your body for this moment in time and saying, you can't mess with her. She was made good. It's not her job to fit any mold, live up to any standard, or win the approval of any man. She is good, and she is resting right now. I'd love to suggest 3 simple ways you can rest the land right now, beginning today and continuing on. Break ties with the concept of an ideal weight. Maybe it's a number you've seen before, one you were told would be right for you, or one you've been aiming at for years. Talk to God. Ask Him if it's okay to give up chasing this number. And then just capture and speak truth to any future thoughts that point back to that number as a goal. Identify a beauty or wellness routine that is not life-giving to you, but feels like something you should do. Consider quitting. Allow yourself to ask why it became a routine, who you're worshiping when you engage in it, and what would happen if you quit it altogether. Pay attention to any rhythms of withholding and or treating yourself. Are certain things off limits unless you earn them with a healthy behavior? What would it look like to let your body just be without stringent restrictions and or rewards for good behavior? I've told you already I live with a pretty frustrating autoimmune disease. I don't really have the option to stop caring for my body, so I would never advocate for that. My body needs movement and healthy food. She needs respite and renewal, and together we're continually figuring out what helps her function best. Sometimes I ignore what she needs for long periods and then pay the price for it. So when I ask you to rest the land, I'm not inviting you to forsake healthy living. Instead, I'm encouraging you to look at the intentions behind your activities and ask, am I doing this to love her and make her into something I can love? Am I doing this to love her? Or am I doing this to make her into something I can love? My commitment is that I'll do the same. Even though it is not the most natural default for me, I promise to rest my land as I write and as this book begins to come to the surface, to fight the enemy's lie that my body is any kind of indicator of achievement or usefulness for this message. I will rest my land and keep encouraging you to do the same, because the alternative is that we continually act as aggressive accusers, telling our own flesh how it needs to fit in. So take a breath. You're off the hook. Your body is good because He said so. It's time for the land to get some rest. The questions at the end of this chapter are: what are you getting your body ready for? Would you like to pull the lever and scream stop too? Would you like to stop trying to get your body right? What would it look like for you to let your body rest from the ongoing work of making it better? What will your soul say for your body when anything tries to provoke her? All right, I'll read this last page. It says, words from our friends. This is from Tiffany. What if we looked at our flesh and told it, you owe me nothing, but I will treat you with honor and kindness because you were made by God and called good? I'm convicted. My body has been so good to me, and I have pushed it to its limits. It has carried me through 4 years of college, 4 years of optometry school, conceived babies, carried babies, led worship, and many dance classes and recitals. I have dragged it to play dates and soccer games, thrown parties with it, used it to decorate for friends' celebrations. I just keep going. I don't tell you about my tendency to just keep going in order to get applause, though. Honestly, this tendency has landed me in many specialists' office as they try to figure out the reason for my burning skin, racing heart, gastritis, and pain. The answer is stress. My body has been good to me, but I have not always been kind to it. Now, I am aware when it is begging for rest. The Lord has given us rest, but I refused to accept it in the past, believing I was somehow failing if I gave it in to my need to rest. But who am I to tell God I don't need what He's ordained? What am I saying about my trust in Him when I do not accept what He has offered me? He is not only sovereign, He is good, and His gift of rest is good for me. And this is from Katie. My version of cerebral palsy is what they call spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy, and it affects my whole body. Basically, the motor skills portion of my brain didn't form correctly because I was born prematurely. My brain tells my muscles not to function properly. Picture a thick rubber band stretched to its capacity. That is my muscles' normal state, even when resting. Now imagine pushing on that taut rubber band. That is my muscles moving, if at all. It takes a lot of effort and energy points to move, walk, stand, and even sit. More effort than I ever realized until I had surgery in 2016. I pushed my body hard all my life in order to be someone I could love and someone others would hopefully like. But what ultimately happened was that I became something that I felt successful in the eyes of the world, being a mama. While I was happily doing what I was doing, it's an amazing job, I never felt worthy of the love and admiration of the people around me, of God, of my family, and definitely not of myself. In my eyes, my worth was still measured by what I could do for others, not simply based on who I am. And I could never do enough for the people I loved and cared about. Now I look back and I'm grateful for rest because I see where I was and where I am now. God knew I would have a grandson to look after in this season, and that I would need to be mobile. And there's a typo in here. And that He knew that I would have a grandson to look after in the season and that I would need to be mobile. I have learned so much about myself and my body in these last few years, and I have also grown more in my relationship with God as He's revealed His handiwork through hindsight. It has taught me how to care for my body going forward, at least as far as mobility is concerned, and I'm grateful. All right. All right. Please pray. Let's see. Please pray for my daughter and her hubby. She had to take him to the ER and admitted him with some kind of heart issue. Yes, absolutely, Donna. You're welcome, Bonnie and Susan. I have diagnosed you as nut right in the head for drinking unsweetened coffee. I take a big old gulp of unsweetened coffee, and if I put the cream in it and it's unsweetened, it is horrible. I would rather have it straight black, and then I'm not happy. Iced coffee black is tolerable, but man, I need sweetener. Part of it is because I am so incredibly sweet that I need to maintain a certain level of sweetness, and therefore I require sweet coffee to maintain this just high level of sweetness that I have. How did I get an admin team that likes black coffee? Can someone explain that nonsense to me? I don't know how it happened. Or that doesn't like coffee at all. Yeah, right, Susan. Oh, all right, my friends, let's go ahead and end in prayer. God, our Father, we thank you for this day and we thank you for this time together and this time to connect in the morning and start out our day with you and in community together, serving and worshiping our God. God, I pray for each woman here and the many concerns on their heart, the illnesses and the struggles that um, many are going through. God, I pray for Donna and her son in law and her daughter and the struggles they're experiencing right now. I pray for a quick diagnosis and treatment and safety and protection over them. God, I pray today as we go through our day, you'll help us to recognize our need for you in everything we do. Help us to recognize your gifts to us, like rest, and that um, we should accept those gifts from you and enjoy those gifts that you've given us. And I pray today that as we think about this devotion that we've read, that you will help us to identify those areas in our life where we could make a change, where we could give our body rest, where we could stop trying to make it better and get to an ideal weight and all of these things that we tend to make our goals. Help us to focus on just honoring you and serving you and giving our body the treatment it deserves because it is good and because it is loved. I pray that you will help us to honor you with everything we say today and every choice that we make with our food and help us to share the love of Christ wherever we go. In your precious name, amen. All right, my friends. There are 3 people. 4. There are 4 admins on my team. Does Gina drink coffee? There are at least 4 admins on my team that don't drink coffee, and I'd like to know how on earth that nonsense happened. Right, Shirley? I agree. Shirley, this is why Shirley is my favorite admin. All right, you guys, I love you. I hope you have an amazing day today. Maybe you can go watch Despicable Me as well. That's where I'm going. I've got lots to do, but in the midst, I'm going to go wake up my kid and go to an early show of Despicable Me because Gru is the best. He is the best. Susan. I can't understand anti-coffeers. It's okay. We all have our faults, Susan. It's all right. I'm just teasing y'all. Y'all can do whatever you want. What time is it? Do I have time to cook breakfast? Well, actually, I think I'm going to have yogurt. I made all that granola yesterday, and so um funny. Funny says if she gets any sweeter, she'll cause diabetes wherever she goes. Right, Karen? Same. All right. Well, I'll be praying for you girls today. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing day. I don't think I'm going to cook because I have a huge bowl of granola that I made yesterday, and um, I need to eat that up. Vicky, I have a new recipe coming soon, hopefully. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. I love you girls. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I